Hey, everybody, welcome to the Love Drives Helpline. If you want to leave your own question, just go to the description of this episode and there's a link there for you, or you can get it from my bio link on Instagram. Okay, here is today's question.
Hi, my name is Marie and I'm calling from Massachusetts. I am struggling because I was broken up with by this guy that told me he wasn't ready for a relationship. And not even 10 days after the breakup, he is back on dating apps. And I don't know whether I should reach out and confront him or if I should just accept that as closure. Thanks.
Hey, Marie, thanks for your question. And I'm sorry that you're going through this. You sound pretty sad about it, and that makes a lot of sense. I think there's a few things I want to say to you. First of all, how do you know he's on a dating app? That's always I'm always so curious. I kind of assume that you know he's on a dating app because you're on a dating app, but I actually think the reality is more that one of your friends saw him on a dating app and told you about it. In which case, that sucks. It sucks. And I have a few things to share with you. He said he didn't want to be in a relationship, and that might very well be true. He might be on a dating app looking for sex or distraction or something casual, or, sort of the most hurtful is that he wants something different than you, right? He wants not you, he wants somebody else. So he may or may not be looking for a relationship. And if he's not, cool. And if he is, that's extra hard, right? Because he is maybe looking for a relationship with somebody that is not you. And that's sort of the most hurtful. But at the end of the day, I don't really think it matters what he's doing anymore. I think that when people break up, what they do is no longer really any of your business. And how they cope with that breakup can be weird. It can be a way of distracting from the pain, right? If you are in pain, oftentimes you will look for sources of comfort. That makes sense. That's what we do. A baby crying, you give it milk, you give it a boob. And that is a source of comfort, right? That is filling a need. And so sometimes people, after they break up, they process that breakup in all sorts of weird ways. And one of those weird ways is getting back on dating apps and seeing what's out there and getting ego hits and validation from strangers. So he might be doing that. Or he might be looking for casual sex, which isn't really a relationship. I mean, it's a relationship of sorts, but it's not the kind of relationship that I think you were talking about. Right? So, oh man, this is hard because I think that you're more sad than maybe he is, which also feels kind of like the status quo, right? I think women grieve more, but I think they grieve more completely. I know a lot of guys who will not look at their grieving process or their grief. They will just go on to the next shiny thing. And that's not to say that women or people who don't identify as those two genders don't also do that. I think as humans, sometimes it's really hard to look at that grief. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what he's doing. And this is hard for me to say, he doesn't want to be with you. I think it's hard to say, but also really necessary for you to accept this new reality. This person doesn't want to be with you. And as hard as that is, it's also okay, right? You're also allowed to not want to be with people. And I'm just not sure what confronting him or reaching out is going to do. Because if you accept that fundamental reality that they don't want to be with you, then you don't need to confront them. You just need to work on accepting that reality so that you can move through that painful experience. I just want to recognize how hard this is and how sad it is and how profoundly disappointing it is, especially if you really liked the person. And I think people at the end of a relationship will say all sorts of things to soften the blow. Right? They'll say, I'm not looking for a relationship and I know you are, so I can't do this anymore. When really they're probably just saying, I don't want to be with you anymore for whatever reason. Or sometimes people will offer friendship as an alternative or as a way to soften the blow at the end of a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but I'd really like to stay friends. And then you might stick around in the hopes of getting some connection or time or intimate exchanges with them. And then come to find out that they're actually not available for a friendship at all. They just didn't know how to be honest in a loving way. Which would sound something like, I've really enjoyed our time together. You mean a lot to me. And as hard as this is to say, I no longer want to be in this relationship. And then silence, right? That's what that looks like. Does it hurt? Yeah, for sure. But it's the equivalent of ripping off the Band-Aid. It really is. Everything else is sort of like a stopgap or temporary, I don't know, I guess the Band-Aid. This is hard. I wish I had better news for you. I don't think you need to reach out. I think you got the closure, right? He said he doesn't want to be in a relationship. He just forgot to say with you. And I really want you to take this with softness. It's not that there's anything necessarily wrong with you or that people don't want to be in a relationship with you. It's that he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, which, is extra painful when you want to be in a relationship with him. The question here is, what will reaching out and confronting him bring you? Will it actually bring you closure? Or is it an attempt to get him to own up to what's really going on? And is that necessary when you sort of know what's going on? My invitation and suggestion to you is to softly come to terms with the end of this relationship. And that hopefully, eventually, you can see this as a liberating experience, right? This man is liberating you. You now have freedom to find somebody who is more aligned with your hopes, dreams, goals, and who wants to build what you also want to build. Take good care. And to everybody listening, have a good week.